Welcome, students, to Monk Meditation, the show about monks in the world of Warcraft.
We're joined by Mistweavers from around the world to discuss the state of healing, look back on warlords, and discuss the future of the spec and legion. Coming up on Monk Meditation, episode 58.
Here's your host, Chai T.
Hello and welcome to our roundtable discussion focusing on Mistweavers. I'm Chai T from Area Peak US, part of the Convert to Raid Guild, where I mistweave heroics for the Rolling Thunder team. We have a great group of healers tonight. First off, from Midwinter, regular co-host of the show, Monkio. How you doing, sir?
I think that's right. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll establish a guild called Winter. I'm not sure how to spell that. We'll get it though. Make sure it's not taken already.
Yeah, it's probably the domain names are going to cost you like a few $100 already.
I'm doing fine. I just had to, as you can see, I'm kind of in a different location with the clown sofa. I had to move into my living room for reasons, internet reasons. So dealing with that, but it should be over very soon, thankfully.
Alright. Okay, and we now have two guest hosts joining the show for the first time. First, a well-known Mistweaver theory crafter who's soon to be really busy crunching numbers for Legion, Geodude. How you doing, sir?
Hello, thanks for having me on board.
Not a problem. You've put in segments for the show before, but I don't think you've ever been on officially, so welcome.
Thank you.
All right, last but not least, the author of the Misty Tea House blog and creator of some of the best Mistweaver week auras out there, Ashley. How you doing?
Hi, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And you know what? Thank you for joining us at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hopefully we won't put you to sleep too much. Before we get started with the roundtable...
Weird.
Yeah, that's fine. And there's actually some news this week, surprisingly. For the last, 3 episodes, we've been talking about no news for WoW whatsoever. Silence going out to BlizzCon. But apparently they decided, we're tired of holding on to all this stuff. So here's Overwatch beta. Here's 6.2.3. Go at it. So we have a new patch on the PTR. You may see some monk changes in the tooltips. So don't let that freak you out. Those are just corrections from when they updated the Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury. So you'll see those in the newest build of the PTR. So don't think we're getting buffed again. While it would be nice, it's not needed at this point. So
yeah, they don't like us that much.
Right, don't freak out. So what they did do in 6.2.3 though is they added some time walking additions. So they said time walking is very popular. Seems like a lot of people are doing it. So they added in the Cataclysm dungeons. They also added in the Wrath repertoire, the Pit of Saren, and Magister's Terrace to the Burning Crusade ones. And these are two of my favorite instances, so I'm really, really happy that they brought these in. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Pit of Saren, that Magister's Terrace were awesome. I'm so glad they didn't. Did they add Halls of Reflection? They really should if they didn't, because that's just... It's so fun to wait 20 minutes for a queue, get in, have the whole group leave immediately. That was just the memories.
Yes. And then they also added Cross Realm Mythic. Now this one's pretty big.
I had just had a friend contact me a day or two before they announced this stuff, and he said, hey, I was looking to buy a Mythic run. Can we do it cross realm? I'm like, no, you can't do that. You'd have to be on the server. And he was really, really disappointed. He's like, oh well, I'll find somebody else to do it. And this came out. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta tell him.
So now they can pay you instead, or not pay. No, that's against terms of service.
Yeah. Mike check, Mike.
So,
Donate, maybe.
So the last time they introduced Cross Realm Mythic was in the 6.0 patch for Siege of Orgrimmar. They opened that up. So can we do it now in High Mall and Blackrock?
I don't know.
I would think so.
Yeah, I can't remember if they opened that up or not. But this pretty much means we're at the end of the tier, essentially. They consider the tier over.
Yeah, okay.
when they open
Another
that up.
4 or 5, 6 months being
Right.
over. That sounds good.
And I'm going to skip this next part because it's probably the most contentious and the most discussion here. So, defeating Mythic Archimon is going to drop a quest for an intro into Legion, and it's also going to earn you that Moose mount that everyone thought was going to be a store mount. Everyone excited about the Moose?
Oh yeah.
All the Canadian
They're
friends are
pretty.
totally excited.
Yeah. They're like, we don't have to pay in those Canadian dollars, eh? That's great. You can write in the show at show@monkmeditation.com and shoot me out for that. Thank you. Let's see. Mythic Dungeons can drop up to item level 725 now. Which,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
Really?
Apparently it's like a range, right?
Yeah,
It's not,
it has a
Yeah.
chance to go anywhere from, I think, 685 up to 725 or something like that.
And I've heard like that it's like a very small chance.
Yeah,
of
small
happening,
chance of
you know?
getting the 725. But still, it's like doing a Mythic Dungeon, which is not... I'm not going to say it's not difficult, because it's challenging, but not nearly as challenging as raiding.
Right, yeah. The jump from like heroic dungeon to mythic dungeon is nowhere near the same as heroic rating to mythic rating.
Right,
It's-
and you're going to get better, potentially get better gear out of a Mythic Dungeon than you can getting out of
it's
heroic rating.
pretty
Even
insane.
Mythic rating. Some of the early Mythic bosses don't drop 725.
Yeah, it really is going to depend on the drop rate and how often you get decent pieces of gear. You know,
Right.
720s. I don't know what the scaling is on it. You know,
Yeah, it's I don't know how I feel about that, but they also doing the same similar kind of thing to Tanan, where your baleful gear is going to have a chance to go anywhere up to
Oh, yeah.
695. Should be nice for gearing up alts.
yeah, for sure.
So do you guys do Mythic Dungeons at all, or will you start doing Mythic Dungeons when that comes out?
I have
I
done
don't-
literally none.
Yeah, same.
I did
I
a
was just
couple
like, oh,
for...
I guess I don't need them.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did 4 of them for the first Mythic weekend where they gave you the heroic cash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that, but that's when you could also cheese Everbloom and get it done in 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's what I did too.
Yeah.
It was just boom, cut a last boss.
They fixed that, so you won't be able to do that anymore.
Oh, did they?
Yep, they fixed
Darn.
it right at the end of the weekend.
That's the only 27th fix for Everbloom, I think. This far. I think hopefully they've learned their lesson this time.
right.
You know?
They also introduced Arena Season 3, if anyone cares. I know there's some PvP monks out there. Both of you, yes, we know. It's cool. It's good. The only point of interest for Arena Season 3 is that Arena seasons usually last about 6 months. And so that puts a relative time frame to Legion being at least 6 months out. Now, they have had seasons as short as 17 weeks, so it's not a guarantee. But most of them are averaging about 6 months. So,
And you know, along those lines, like this new patch coming out with the Valor upgrades, which I'm sure we'll get to. It's not even out yet. So however long that's gonna be on PTR. Then when that comes out, that's gonna be however long it. You know, they're not gonna have that only last 2 months because you can get nothing out of that. You know.
right.
So we'll see how all
And then
that.
beta for Legion.
Yep.
then-
Yep.
100 years after Legion.
Right. Oh, man. And as you mentioned, Monkey-O, the point of contention here that I think we'll get some discussion, they're bringing back Valor to the game, and more importantly, item upgrades. Letting you upgrade twice per piece at 5 item levels apiece, up to 10 item level plus on each piece of gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About that.
So I'm going to hold my opinion here. Ashley, what do you think about this return of Valor and item upgrades?
I'm a little bit sad. I like just, when you get a new piece in the raid, you just put it on.
Yeah.
You don't have to care about any upgrades or that. They had so much of it in Mists of Pandaria. So, a little bit sad, but I understand why they want to have a reward. What is it in... Yeah, it's in Mythic Dungeons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
Yep.
But, yeah, different things. So, yeah, I can understand, but not very happy about item upgrades.
What about you, Geodu?
I'm not too thrilled about it. I think at this point, most of our raiders, we're like a 9-hour per week Mythic guild, right? And so we've just killed Julharak So we're at 11 out of 13 mythic, and we're like US number like 124 or something. Like we're really up there, and yet they're putting upgrades in already. It seems kind of weird, and I know a lot of our raiders are going to be really unhappy about it. I think at this point in the expansion, they just want to raid, and that's it.
Yep. What about you, Monkey?
Yeah, so like he said, they just want to raid, right? If you're a raider, some people just only have time for raiding, and I don't think they're offering the valor from raiding, or from at least from mythic
LFR?
raiding, right?
You can do LFR. That's
LFR,
raiding.
they don't
right?
want to do it. Like, I know, like, it's just people have been complaining, like maybe they could give like even just like 50-60% of your valor, or much you might be able to get out of a raid, and mythic raid or heroic raid. That's all people want to do if they want to do that. They're upset that they have to go out and do all this other stuff when they may or may not have time. For me, it's something, I guess, to keep going, and I don't have to spend too much extra time doing it. Like I don't have to do a whole lot of mythic raiding outside of a whole lot of mythic raiding. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I don't like that they brought it back, because I feel like the upgrade system was really boring and only served to stretch out the time, give people stuff to do while they, screw up their delivery dates or whatever it was. Not whatever. But I don't know. It just feels like a cheap way to stretch out content, and I don't appreciate that. But
it's a slow nerf.
Yeah, that's just the thing. It makes you feel more powerful, and so I guess some people like that.
So
I'm not too happy about a nerf though, because we're not done yet. Like,
right. So I'll counterpoint, Geo. The content's not changing, so you don't have to use upgrades, right?
Yeah, but in Mythic Guild mentality,
right,
you kind of need to, like, on Shul Harak, about 20 attempts before our kill, we had a 1% wipe, right? Upgrades would have made that kill, and then we would have been 20 attempts sooner on Manaroth.
Yeah.
LeBlue in the dojo, you shut your mouth. He's like, Jai was super excited about valor upgrades. No. I agree with all of you. What upsets me most is that their biggest mentality coming into Warlords is as Ashley put it, you get a piece of gear, you get to put it on. Now I'm going to have upgraded my weapon or my trinket or something to 2 levels, and it's going to be 10 item levels higher, but a Warforged piece is going to drop for me, or the next tier is going to drop for me of what I need, but it's not an upgrade until I go spend Valor, but I'm Valor capped for this week, so I have to wait until next week, do my dungeons first before raid time in order to upgrade it to have my upgrade.
Yeah,
no.
I don't really mind when they put something in, even if I don't agree with it. They're going to put it in. I don't really care if they do or do not put it in. I care about the reason why they put something in. Like, they put in Valor and they had a perfectly good, valid reason to put it in, then great. But something they said before is that they like to nerf content without directly nerfing content, right? Without directly nerfing bosses by reducing health or reducing damage. But, like, they add the stuff in that passively or indirectly nerfs content, like the Legendary Ring upgrade and now Valor, which would be fine if they didn't already severely nerf the content directly. They nerfed Manaroth, Archimond. What else did they do? Basically all the fights before, like Gorfiend. I think, Gorfiend got some big nerfs. It's like, you have these challenging encounters, and they're supposed to last another 6 months, 5 months, whatever it may be, and you've already nerfed them into the ground to the point where it's just not fun to play. You just steamroll over it, and then you give us another 4 to 6 months. Keep increasing the range, getting more and more optimistic for no reason.
Next week,
give us another, tomorrow. You give us this whole big chunk of time to upgrade and improve our gear drastically. 10 item levels, that's huge. And these bosses are just going to fall over. Some of these bosses are going to be minute or less long. Like, look at Iron Reaper, how fast it's dying now.
Yeah, Iron Reaper goes down real fast now.
What? He's not even going to cast an ability.
So, why do you feel that they needed to add Valor when they already had 3 useless currencies available to us?
Oh,
they have garrison resources, oil, those dumb Apexis crystals. I can understand Apexis crystals because a lot of people just have a huge stockpile of them. And so you'd have everybody just completely upgraded right off the bat. So I can kind of understand that, but couldn't they put a cap and says you can only upgrade 2 pieces a week or something like that?
Yes. Then everybody who's like has like 100,000 Apexis crystals just lying around would then not feel motivated to run the mythic dungeons, and I guess that's part of their point. But that's part of the point that I don't like.
They're already giving people like
right now.
They're already giving people a carrot by saying you can get 725 gear drop out of here. It's not Mythic Raiders, but Mythic Raiders aren't going to be running this stuff anyways. They're going to find other ways. I guess they will.
I disagree.
I guess they will for the Valor. I guess you have a point there.
Plus, if this stuff can be Warforged socketed on the 725 Mythic gear, it's going to be good.
Yeah.
For a lot of classes. Because apparently it's like the normal loot, right? It's just scaled up really high level.
Yeah.
And a lot of those dungeon loots can roll any stats. Like if you like Haste Mastery, there's a chest Haste Mastery for you, and there's a crit multi-strike one too. It's like you just run it over and over until you get the piece that you want, if you're that hardcore about it.
Yeah. I just wish that they had a little bit more varied ways to get Valor.
Oil would have been perfect. Like, who uses oil? Honestly.
I actually, I
do.
I thought my shipyard was broken. I went in there yesterday, and I went to go do a quest, and I couldn't do the quest. I was like,
really?
What's going on? I checked my oil. I was down to 100. I was like, what?
I mean, I have like 12,000 oil.
I had like 12,000 at one point. I don't know what's going on.
Would you spill it into the Zangu Sea? Freaking BP chai tea.
Yeah, BP chai. There we go.
I still haven't got those ring heirlooms. I'm trying to get them.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Still going. Still none.
All right, well, let's go ahead and move this into the Mistweaver Roundtable. So we have a whole bunch of good Mistweavers here. Good for me. Great for you guys. I'm terrible, but we'll have fun. So Hellfire Citadel has been out for a while. Will be out for a long while. Is it fun? Are you guys having fun this tier? Is it good for the Mistweaver?
Yeah, I think it's really fun, actually. The 4 set really brought out a new playstyle. The whole single target healing with AoE heals.
Yeah, being able to focus in on target our heals a little bit better. Something we've been asking for a while. And go ahead.
I think it's almost necessary this tier, though. There's the damage is just like so spiky you can't even hardly react. You kind of almost need that, big surge of single target healing from the Renewing Mist to actually like heal properly. So I think they really chose a good set bonus for this tier, but I guess they could have done better with the tier overall.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's always gone towards the end of a tier, because I don't know if they have very uncreative ways of thinking about how to make healing more difficult as you go on through the different tiers, but it's always ended up like the harder bosses are just, you're either 10% health or you're 100% health, and it's like that's not really all that fun. It's just
it's like almost back to Siege of Argomar. Almost.
Yeah, and that's what I think about.
Don't say that. Oh god.
Like that's what it feels like, because you go back to like there's one fight in particular from Siege of Argomar that I remember was just awful to heal, and that was the Iron Juggernaut. And I just always think about it when I think of bursty spike damage, because it just someone just dies. I remember just doing the fight, and that guy died instantly. What happened? He just got hit by 8 mechanics at once. It just happens. It's like, oh, okay, we'll just res him, I suppose.
Yeah, we don't even have battle res, so we're useless. It's terrible.
Yeah, and I've heard that like they design encounters around what players can do, not the other way around. It always feels like the other way around, but I'll take their word for it. And so they make these set bonus, and they're like, okay, look, all these classes have amazing single target heals. Let's throw in mechanics that pretty much almost kill someone, and then they have to use all these different new mechanics, set bonuses, to recover from that. And that's not really fun. They wish they could do better with that, better planning, and make it more spread out. We'll see.
So, what do we feel about the Rushing Jade Wind gameplay in this tier? With having so much mana now and so much spirit, we're able to span Rushing Jade Wind. Is this awesome? Is this great? Or is it just not fun?
I don't think it's that fun. I think it removes a lot of the decision making that I had to make, like in High Mall, when mana was much more limited, and I had to choose, exactly 10 spots in the fight where I could use Rushing Jade Wind to keep everybody alive. And now it's just kind of, are people taking damage? If so, hit Rushing Jade Wind. So the decision making has been removed.
Yeah, it's almost like a pre-pool of mists, renewing mist. It's just something, when you have this much mana, you just hit it on cooldown when you're taking damage. You don't even think about it. You just, oh, I'm not rushing Jade Wind, I should use that. And so you just do it. And it's pointless to, to have something like that in the game. It's just,
Yeah, we're not even stacking Spirit anymore, right?
Yeah. Well,
for most fights, anyway.
I think, Ashley.
Just crane every fight. So.
That's part of the problem, too.
Well, I got rid of the spirit weapon enchant and went with Frostwolf, and then I've had... Well, I can't spam all the time, but a lot of it I can spam. So, I don't know, I just don't think about it. It's just like rushing Jadewind in the background all the time.
Yeah. I'm still not to that point with the gear that I've got. I still have to actually somewhat pay attention, but for the most part, when I need it, it's there. So, it's... even at the heroic level, it seems... Like you said, it's just a no-brainer. People are taking damage, and you're close to them, hit Rushing Jadewind. So would be nice. I agree with you, Geodude. It was nice in the intro tier. Heimal was probably one of the most fun to heal, just because.
Oh yes.
You had decisions to make, and you had
like
interesting playstyles.
It's fun. It's a good, definitely a really good raid for healers.
Right. So, have any of you guys used the class trinket? Do you actually use that at all in your actual progression?
Class trinket?
Yes.
No idea. I don't know.
I haven't even got mine to drop yet, so.
That's probably a good thing.
I got it, then I gave it away.
You won't be tempted to use it anymore.
I want it for when I actually have to go Windwalker, but that's a whole another discussion.
That's true, yeah. That's good, yeah.
I know people have been using it to pad meters on Hellfire High Council because the Leech Trinket doesn't show up as your healing.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think I've heard of people using it for pretty much anything else.
You can really pad meters really hard in Tyrant.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
That would be good. But boring.
Yeah, it's not it. It's like
just such a boring trinket. It's like, you want to get the most out of it? Stand there, hit this one button, make sure you have your statue down. I screwed that up. And just do that.
You forgot the step 2 and you did the question mark instead.
I was so excited to use it on Valhalla. I was like, I'm going to be the pad master here. I'm going for it. And I told everyone, I was like, here it comes. And halfway
You're like
through the fight,
30k healing,
like,
or what's going on?
I'm looking at the recount, like, what is going on here? I'm doing something wrong. I must be in Windwalker gears. Like, oh, where's my statue? Oh, no.
Oh, man. So, why did they make a trinket that is completely counter to the playstyle of the 4-piece? No synergy at all.
I think that's why, though.
I
think they wanted an option to change the way you play.
Do any of the other specs have that? Like, don't they all kind of synergize pretty well? Where you can have your 4-piece and your trinket and use them?
Maybe.
Have your cake and eat it too?
Not for everyone, I think.
I'm trying to think of examples.
Well, just take Windwalker, for example. They go, of course, they're not
that
healers.
That was just nice.
But, yeah, they completely synergize by making the combo breaker hit Rising Sun Kick, and that goes crazy. So that's a complete synergy where you put the two together and you get better results. Whereas us, you put the two together, and why didn't you use your Leech Trinket, you idiot? So it's... Why? Why did they do that? I don't get it.
I can say with a lot of confidence that I'm pretty sure that's the reason. It was just to give you another way to heal. Was it the right way to do it? Probably not. It worked really well if you didn't have 4-piece and you were doing fights like Council, maybe Valhari. It would have been really good in Valhari if I hadn't had 4-piece by then, especially for Phase 2. And you don't really need all that much healing. You just need constant healing to keep people a little bit topped off. But
which is easy because
everybody's
health is so
right. It's nice for it.
I was kind of excited to try out like the demonic phylactery plus the class trinket together.
Yeah.
And just you have all the mana in the world and you're doing a crap ton of healing. It's like, but as you said, that's a really boring playstyle, and you get better numbers out of the other stuff. Plus, who cares about mana really?
Right. If you have 4-piece, there's no reason to use the trinket. And I remember when we first started doing Hellfire, I recommend if you don't have 4-piece and you're doing a fight that's really good for it, you can use the trinket. There's no issue because it worked really well with the old 2-piece, 217 2-piece. It was actually not bad. I was doing really well with it on console, but it just it's so specific
Yeah.
that like you said, you would have done fine without it, and just using another trinket that gave you stats.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about Mistweaver specifically in the Hellfire fights. Is it overpowered? Underpowered? What do you guys think?
Guess, please.
What do you think, Gio?
It's a good question. It feels like we're kind of middle of the road if you compare to Druid. I think that if you compare to Druid, you know, they have their additional cooldowns and we have stronger throughput and maybe a little bit better spot healing. But I mean, the disc Paladin Shaman trio is so important this tier. It's crazy. So, I mean, I guess if you compare us to them, then we're really underpowered. The Shaman just has too many cooldowns. The disc, you need the effective health, and the Paladin, you need the tank healing. I mean, for most fights, you just can't get around that. So, I mean, I don't know about other Mythic Raiders, but I've been, you know, sitting myself a lot because I know we need those cooldowns and stuff in there.
All right, Ashley, what do you think?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think it's been, well, pretty even, actually, for most healer classes. I don't know about Holy Priest, but for me it looks like we're, I don't know, pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall, you know, healing balance for sure has been really good this tier. When we finished a fight, not even just tier, but BRF, I remember, we had moments where, when in our little healing channel, a little clique, we would, after a hard fight, it's like, oh my god, how did we heal that? We'd go to the logs and we see, wow, we all did like the exact same amount of healing, because we just, it was so even, it was so impressive. The Discipline Priest was up on, way up high, we couldn't even see him, but ignoring that guy, everything else was really even.
Yeah, you each had 2 hit points healed the entire fight. It was great.
To be fair, our Disc Priest is like a god of Disc. I've never seen someone master a class as much as he's mastered Discipline, but it's I felt like everyone else was pretty good. And during Hellfire progression, I didn't ever feel like Shaman or Druid were any better than Monk. You know, I remember when Valhari was the one fight where we had considered swapping me for my Shaman ult. And I was like, I guess it makes sense because it's a very cooldown heavy fight. Very good use of Spirit Link on that fight. But I was like, I don't think that's the issue. Like, if you look at it, the way we were dying and stuff, it was just, if you feel like your healer comp is wrong, it's probably not the issue. It's probably people not doing things correctly, doing mechanics correctly, because monks can put out just as much healings as shamans. Yeah, it's a little bit more spread out. It's not as bursty as a shaman might be with Link and Tide and Ascendance, I suppose. But I feel like monks bring just as much to a fight, even just healing, as a shaman would. So overall,
stronger spot healing, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
And the 4-piece really goes a long way with that. And that you could tank heal as well. But I don't know. I just felt like they had just as much burst potential. But maybe not, you don't see it as much because it's not built in the cooldowns.
Yeah, I feel that the further we go into this tier, and the shorter the fights are becoming, the less powerful we're becoming. Because the longer the fights are, the more revivals we can get out. Holy cow, our numbers go crazy.
Agree, yeah.
Especially when you compare, because Trank is like an 8-minute cooldown or something, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
3 minutes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well that's all right. I need to
Used
update
to
my
be.
It's old news,
add-on then. It's like we just had a Resto Druid come and trial for us. We haven't had a Resto Druid this entire tier, and so they hit Trank, and I saw the cooldown. My cooldown tracker start going. I was like, 8 minutes. What the heck? That's terrible.
And Heart of the Wild is pretty long. It's like 5 minutes or something.
All right, well, never mind me. But I think Revival is probably really super powerful, especially when you combine it with the ring. You throw the ring in there, and it's like, all right, everybody's shielded for everything. So it's really nice. Yeah,
the ring with the Revival is so crazy, especially if it gets a lot of effective healing out. I remember using it on Archimon, and in the last phase when the Infernals would drop, he'd pop the ring, the other guy would pop the ring, and I'd revival, and just nobody would take damage the rest of that phase. It was great.
Yep.
You pair it with Rallying Cry or something.
Oh, nice. That's pretty good.
All right, so we've already talked trinkets a little bit. We talked the class trinket, which is terrible, but Intuition's Gift versus the Demonic Phylactery, what do you guys think? Intuition's Gift, definitely, right?
Yeah, I got an Intuition's Gift with a socket, like kind of early on through my cache.
Lucky.
And so I'd use that for like every fight. Because that 75 multi-strike is just so good.
Having on-demand...
Close, and I mean, that burst for
yeah.
most fights, like you can find somewhere to use it, especially if you have a free 75 multi-strike that comes with it.
Yeah, and having the on-demand burst is really, really powerful, not having to deal with the random procs of stuff.
For sure.
And I think this also makes the Leech Trinket really powerful, too, is that it's dependent on your healing, not on RNG.
That's true.
So.
And yeah, the Leech Trinket's just really powerful. Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
like we couldn't believe it. Oh my, like we were testing it, and we would have, on the PTR, I remember a shaman was kind of doing tests for it, and he would whisper each of the healers, okay, you put on the trinket, and everyone else take it off, and then we'll see how much you do with it. And he was trying to figure out who it was best for, and like I would put mine on, and he goes, oh my, what are you doing with that trinket? It's just, it's doing so much healing. Like, it's so good.
How good it is for Mistweaver.
Yeah, it is
definitely
really good.
An amazing trinket for the tier,
So is kind of the consensus then is if possible, you'd usually always go with Intuition's Gift and the Leech Trinket?
Yeah, for most cases. The Phylactery is kind of weird in that it reduces the mana cost of your abilities, right? So if you're not using a lot of abilities that cost mana, then it's really crap.
Right.
And
for us, half of our stuff costs cheap.
This tier, there's a lot of downtime on a lot of fights, so there's not very many places where Phylactery can shine. The Theorycraft that I put up on the forums assumed 10% downtime, but a lot of fights this tier have been more than that. Yeah. I haven't really gone back and changed any of that, but
I was going to ask a really dumb question if it counted for Crane Stance abilities as well, but I'm like, you'd never use mana in Crane Stance anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It does, though, I think.
Okay.
Jab and,
pretty sure it does.
Crackling Jade Lightning, yeah.
Rushing Jade Wind is always nice.
Yes, that too.
What was that, Ashley?
You're using that in Crane, it's like...
Sorry?
What was that?
Haste in Crane.
Oh yeah, Haste and Crane is very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you're craning, the Intuition's Gift and Phylactery are really good. They just go well together.
Yeah.
Or you could be like Zuggy and put on Agility Trinkets and try to get a lot of damage out. I heard that and I was like, wait, I didn't even think about that. Oh my goodness, does the Spirit Eruption do Eminence? That's insane.
So, this wasn't in the rundown, but I want to talk about this. We were talking about this a little bit in the pre-show. Fistweaving. How much do you guys typically fistweave in an average night?
Oh wow.
My personal time or in raids?
In raids. Well, yeah.
Okay.
Quite a bit. I think, the general rule is you always start off a fight by fistweaving, right? But during farm, especially if you're overhealing content, you're just well, we need to bring in X healers because they all need the gear, so I'll just punch the boss.
Yeah.
But during progression, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities Summon Valari, Iskar, I don't know, almost every boss. We had to 5-heal Hellfire Assault, so I fistweaved the entirety of that. We were just missing too many DPS.
It's not like that fight goes any slower though. That fight is forever long. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. During progression we needed the DPS though. We didn't do split farms or anything, so we had a lot of people missing 4-piece.
God bless. No split farming. God bless.
All right, Ashley, how much do you fistweave?
A lot, I think. At least I open up in Crane Stance pretty much every time. And then progression bosses, almost always in Crane. And I mean, Hellfire Assault, just go Crane, and then Rushing Jadewind when the ads come. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah, the Rushing Jadewind combo with Crane stance can be really
Yeah,
nasty
it's
depending
insane.
on the boss. Iskar is so much fun with that. Just balls everywhere. The same with, what was it, Beast Lord in Blackrock? You'd stay in that the whole
yeah.
time, and just, you could out-heal everybody on your team except for the Disc Priest. But you just out-heal everybody Crane stancing. It was fantastic. Monkey, how about you? I know you tend to Fistweave quite a bit.
Yeah, but I was doing it at the end there to try and, because we were having healer trials come in, right? And there's no real point in, if we're trying to see how well a healer performs, there's no point in me spamming my brains out trying to, snipe heals and get ranks when we're trying to evaluate this guy's performance. So I spent the vast majority of my time, in Crane stance just to see how much they can compensate for a lack of healing. And that sounds lazy and it sounds like a BS excuse to just DPS, but it really was the point, to see how well they can do. Because, you want a strong healing core. They're very important. There's not many people in that, so each player needs to be really good. Plus, I know that our Holy Paladin, he loves to parse. I know that our Disc Priest, he won't admit it, but he likes to rank and parse as well. So I don't care about that anymore. I used to do that a lot, and I care more about getting Mistweaver than I do about healing parses. So letting them do that, that's great. No problems with that. We all benefit,
So in heroic mode, I tend to spend a lot of time in Fistweaving, and my mantra has always been, as a Mistweaver, is that consider Fistweaving your default stance, and then Mistweave when you need to, when you have to. And so that's kind of the way I always go with it, and it seems to work out pretty well for me. I really like that the 4-piece now helps you kickstart back into Crane stance, because you've got, or back into Serpent stance, because you have all those renewing mists out, and so it helps you out quite a bit on that. And there goes Monkey-O. Let's see if that whole moving into the into the basement
He'll be
thing
back.
didn't exactly work very well for him. All right.
Oh no.
We'll keep going here. So what changes should we make for Legion to make this spec more fun and less clunky? I'm saying that as if we have any say in this, but what can we do to make the spec more fun? Or what can Blizzard do to make it more fun?
Well, I said this before the show, but I think Crane stance is pretty boring. I think they could do a lot to spice that up. I mean, I guess part of what makes DPS specs fun is like the procs and having to react to that, but I don't really want RNG in my healing spec, but at the same time,
we already do. Go mastery.
But I mean, every healer deals with crit and multi-strike RNG, but I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? That's terrible.
Crane.
Crane stance.
Crane stance.
Crane stance. Oh yes, right. So, but the procs, like, I don't know. It's if you don't get procs when everybody's taking a lot of damage and you're in Crane and you're just like But I think it would make the spec more fun. I mean the stance more fun.
So kind of keep the same Fistweaving thing, just make Fistweaving a little bit more exciting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And for Serpent, I feel like there are some things that you need to do, like Expel Harm, that just feel like, oh, I should cast this because it's top priority, but I'm not actually healing anyone.
Right.
Which I feel like some of that could be stripped out. But I think everybody likes the Renewing Mist and Uplift link and everything. And one big thing that I would like on my wish list, probably the top thing on my wish list, would be some way to spend my mana when Rushing Jadewind is not an option. I think that's a big reason why we have trouble spending all of our mana some fights, is because if Rushing Jadewind is not an option, either people, like, melee is not taking enough damage, or you can't be in melee, like, it's too dangerous, or something of that nature, like the rate of spread. I think we need something to spend something else to spend our mana, because on fights like that we just have nothing.
Right.
The only way to spend all your mana would be like do crazy single target, and that's usually not optimal. So why would you do that?
Yeah.
I would like Pull of Mist to be baseline. Really. That's
Yes.
my top.
I think
Just to have more choice.
completely
the talent
redoing
tree.
the tier 100 tree is
Yeah.
absolutely top priority. Just get rid of the
Yes,
whole thing,
please, thank
scrap it, chi explosion, get out of here. Statue, they should make the statue baseline, because that's actually
Just
a
get
really
everything
cool ability.
baseline.
Right?
Well, it's
give us
cool,
all
but
the
it's
things.
so difficult to use. I mean, I remember having to chase the tank somewhere in, I think it was in beta. I was just chasing the tank and trying to convince it's not dangerous. You should stand in it. God damn it.
Oh yeah, the first time I used it in a raid,
Everybody
freaked
just
out.
deltered.
It was on the
What
boss
the
with the
hell is
hands, Cromog, Cromog, one of the Ks.
Kromog,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I used it, and they were like, What is going on? Oh, the whole raid just mumble went crazy. I was like, calm
Bracken's
down, guys.
Spore is
It's
when I used it the
helpful.
first time, and yeah, everybody in
yeah.
the raid's like, oh god! But there's
should
such
be
a
able to,
fun
like-
ability.
Yeah, but you should be able to relocate the statue
Oh, during the
when you're
spit?
doing. Yeah, exactly,
good.
because now it interrupts it. And if people are running away to China or whatever, you want to follow along with the statue.
Right. Yeah, it's
Definitely
making
better.
the statue more useful is also top of the priority list. The statue is kind of a complete afterthought right now.
I think they'll probably either do that or remove it.
I doubt that they're going to remove it since they're focusing so heavily on class fantasy. I think if anything, they're going to give Windwalkers a statue
That's fair.
finally. So
And it's going to change into a crane when you go into crane stance.
yes, it'd be nice if you had a crane statue
Exactly.
and a serpent statue, and you can have one for each. That'd be really cool.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, Geodude, you had mentioned that people seem to be okay with the Renewing Mist and Uplift. I didn't hear that in beta. I heard completely the opposite, that they really didn't like that Renewing Mist isn't targeted. You have that one person target, but then it spreads out randomly. And they even changed it so that way it was a smart heal again, because originally they had taken out smart heals altogether. It was just going to bounce to some random injured person. And there was a huge upcry about that. I think that is right. They helped out a lot with Extend Life, but that's a tier bonus. That's not necessarily going to follow us into the next next expansion.
Yeah, I think a big part of the Renewing Mist and Uplift thing working is you need healing to be like in Highmaul, where you have plenty of time to heal people. So you have time to throw out that Renewing Mist and build Chi and actually cast Uplift.
Right.
Like, it's a combo, and you need time to do the combo. So when we're doing Siege of Orgrimmar healing, you just have to like throw out the Renewing Mist and like hope it's on the right people, and then Uplift, and then throw out your Extend Lives if you can. But like, I think it works a lot better when the damage relative to the health pools and the healing relative to the health pools is much lower.
Right.
So that's what I would like to see is keep Renewing Mist and Uplift, and then just like healing like Highmaul the whole expansion, because I mean maybe they would probably have to change the way stamina scales with gear or something, but I mean, why not if it would make the game more fun for healers?
It always seems like healing is most fun in the first tier.
First tier,
content.
yeah.
Actually, that depends, because like in Cataclysm, it's terrible the first tier because of the mana issues. And of course, we didn't exist back then, so it's hard to say. But it's like I remember healing my Resto Druid, and it was terrible. The first tier of Cataclysm was not fun as a healer. There goes Monkey again. All right. So
Bye.
yeah, but this tier
Oh, man.
or this expansion, they did really, really well with the first tier of content. Blackrock got a little dicier, and of course, this one really,
Those
really spiky
spirit
again.
trinkets were insane.
Yes.
Yes.
And they also changed Spirit as we entered Blackrock Foundry as well. Or they didn't change Spirit, they changed Mana Tea
Yeah.
and how it responded, and so it made it absolutely ridiculous for the top end. So now you have all these Spirit Trinkets, and you just drink 2 sips of your Mana Tea, you're back in action. Whereas before, you had to really think about it. So we'll have to see about that.
I don't think that was the main culprit of the problem, though. I think it's just the spirit scaling up. I mean, I could be wrong, but if I recall correctly, the like breaking even point with the old method and the new method was like 2100 spirit or something.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but most of this tier we run like 2000 spirit, except like Gore Fiend, Hellfire High Council, like the ones where you actually stack all the spirit you can. So, I don't think that's the main culprit because we're not too far off from 2100 spirit. I think it's just
For the lesser tiers, though,
there's not enough damage going out. There's not enough RJW opportunities and stuff like that. Sorry, go ahead.
For the lesser tiers, for normal heroic, though, that was a significant change, especially if you're running normals or, God forbid, you're an LFR raider. That hurt.
Like at really low gear levels. Yeah. I mean, like people have to use like Chi Torpedo now where they didn't need to before, because if you use Rushing Jade Wind, you'll just boom so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah. So, what should we do about, or what should Blizzard do about Spirit going into next year?
Oh dear.
Oh god.
I don't know. We could talk about this for a while, probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they just removed Spirit altogether, and maybe give healers something else to care about, or maybe put Spirit on even fewer items.
Yeah.
Like right now, we have it on trinkets and jewelry. Maybe if they like just put it on jewelry or something.
That would make too much competition for the other trinkets. That was the problem.
Well, I mean, then you would have like trinkets that only proc off heals or something like that.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, it's they've got to find a way to make mana either more meaningful or, like you said, completely get rid of Spirit and go to other resources. Instead of using mana, use a chi or energy system or something like that. But the problem with that is PvP. Though now that they've changed PvP where they can have their own systems in there, maybe we'll get something. Who knows?
I don't know.
That'd be kind of fun.
I mean, I do like the gameplay of, like I said in what was it called? It was a Mythic Twin Ogron, where I had only 10 or 15 Rushing Jade Winds for the whole fight, and I had to pick when I could use it. I think that gameplay is really valuable.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to not see a gameplay like the Old Republic does, where you just have like 100 energy and you just kind of spam whenever.
Yeah. Then we'll be like this the whole time, where we just don't care about your resource at all.
Right. I think that's kind of the degenerate Siege of Orgrimmar type healing. I don't think that's as fun.
Right. Well, let's talk about Disc, because this is the only kind of pertinent information that we've gotten so far. Is Disc Priests going to a 50-50 spec in Legion? And what do you think is the future of Crane Stance going into Legion now? I know what we already talked about what we would like to see with Crane, but with the information about 50-50 discipline, what do we think is going to happen?
Well, apparently they liked Crane. Otherwise, I don't think they would have done another hybrid. So I guess that's good. I'm just hoping that they're going to do encounters specifically designed with hybrids in mind. That would be really fun. And you have a specific Crane build or something, so you can really power up Crane. Or is that just me?
No, not just you. I think that'd be really cool to have a little bit more power in Crane Stance.
Yeah.
So, what I've always wondered is, if they keep Crane where it is, we have the ability as Mistweavers to go from 50% damage, 50% healing, all the way up to 100%, right? We have that switch that we can do anytime during the fight to go from 50 to 100. So we can end the fight at 75% healing, 80% healing, versus Disc that will always be stuck at 50%. So this tells me that we either have to completely obliterate Crane Stance altogether, or force it into a 50-50, just like Disc. Because otherwise there is no point whatsoever to bring a Discipline Priest.
Something I also think could happen is maybe they would just make it like weaker, like 30-30 or something. And so, like, Mistweaver has that advantage; they can switch into it and do like a little bit of damage, though their healing is going to be low too. Or yeah, they might just remove it. I think no matter what they do, some monks, some Mistweavers are going to be upset about it.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
I think no matter what they do, I mean, even if you keep it now, people are going to be upset about it because they're like, well, now you just screwed up discipline. Now no one wants to play that. If they get rid
Right.
of Crane, then it's like, what? That's our fantasy. That's how we do things, is we
Right.
do sweet kung fu and heal people. And if you make it a 50-50 spec, it's like, but I want to heal too. So,
There's a lot of people who miss that, like, the 5.0 healing style, like the jab uplift.
no.
Not specifically the jab uplift, but like the requirement that you need to be in melee and you do like a marginal amount of damage as like part of your healing rotation.
I like that from a fantasy standpoint. I did not like that from a game style standpoint. And the reason I really didn't like it is because of my buttons. So many buttons. You'd have to have a row for a Crane and a row for...
Oh, I see.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, button bloat, sure, they don't necessarily need to bring button bloat back, though, to make the spec like that. They would just need some revamping, I suppose.
I can't think of a way that they can bring it back without just severely doing pruning. Ability pruning, because my buttons are already just completely full.
Well, they did say a lot of specs
same.
are going to get revamps, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
And we
maybe
won't have
Mistweaver on the
Multistrike.
chopping block.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we don't have multi-strike anymore, so
No more
Yeah.
Jade Mist procs.
Yep.
I'm hoping they make haste our number one stat.
That'd be interesting going from...
I think it's fun to
Yeah.
cast spells quickly.
What I would love to see, actually, is them to make Mastery our primary stat. Make it good.
Mastery. Really?
Well, I have a feeling they're going to completely toast
They
Mastery.
have to change Mastery,
Right.
please.
So I have a feeling they're just going to completely wipe it off the face of the planet and give us a new Mastery. And I think it would be hilarious if they made... Because they have to get rid of that... everybody gets a bonus 5% on a particular secondary. Ours is currently multi-strike. I would just... Thank you, irony gods, to make Mastery our primary. It's like,
Just
we're
suddenly-
going to make you guys like Mastery, even though you've hated it for the last 2 expansions. Eat it. Enjoy your Mastery dessert.
Jeez.
You're gonna like it and you're gonna say thank you.
Right. Welcome back, Monkeyo.
I don't.
Hooray!
Oh, no. Are we losing him?
Uh-oh.
I don't think that whole new cable in the living room is working out
Happy
for
thoughts. Happy thoughts.
you. We're making it just like the old little blue joke. This is great.
Yeah.
The look of...
Just you're a robot.
Hold on, let me switch to... Someone get a screen cap of that. There we go. He has the most intense, happy look on his face right now. Let's see, let me print screen. Let's see, print screen. There we go. Got it. All right. Oh, and it broke up right after the end there. That's okay. Okay, so with Warlords coming to an end, did the devs succeed in the healing changes they wanted when they were introducing Warlords of Draenor and the new healing model? I have a feeling I know the answer to this since we've already talked about it, but one of their goals was to make healing much more reactive, have time to react and recover, just like we were talking about in Heimal. Did they succeed in this?
Partly, I would say. It was good in the beginning
Mm-hmm.
with the bigger health pools, and yeah, you had more time to react.
What do you think, Judah?
Yeah, kind of the same. I liked Heimal, and then BRF got a little bit worse, and then HFC got it even worse. I would like to see a kind of a return to that. I mean, I guess the problem is that, you know, every 15 item levels you get about plus 15% to all of your stats, which means plus 15% intellect and stamina and everything. But you also get, you know, plus 15% crit rating and multi-strike rating, and all those stack multiplicatively with intellect to make you just a healing god. Meanwhile, stamina is still only increasing by 15%. So I think they need to, like, make stamina scale exponentially or something if they want to like keep it that fun throughout the whole expansion, because I mean, you think about the difference between heroic dungeon item level and then like mythic HFC item level, and you're like, oh yeah, that'll make a huge difference in the amount of HPS you can do relative to your maximum health.
I think they've really painted themselves in the corner with the insane item level scaling that you take in each tier, because you go from 640 starting in High Mall, and then you have to do LFR, then you have to do normal, heroic, mythic, add Warforged in there. And then the next tier, in order to feel like you have an upgrade, you have to go way higher. And so we have these huge item level disparities between when we started the expansion at Heroic Gear 630 all the way up to what are we going to be at, like 7? What is Mythic? What is Mythic Warforged at Archimond? Yeah, it's like
741.
741 or something like that. You have 100 item levels there. 110, 111. Geez, I can math really well. 111 item levels between when you're starting versus ending. That's ridiculous, right? That's a how you can't scale like that. You just can't. So they're gonna have some challenges. I think we had a really good recommendation in the dojo. Oh, Leadfoot 352 indicates, man, make this a 1-tier expansion. That way, it's always fun. We just have 1 raid tier, next expansion.
There you go.
I think we fixed it. There you go, Blizzard. You're welcome. All right. The other thing that they wanted to do in this healing model is reduce effectiveness of absorbs by providing more constant healing needed. And I think they succeeded in certain encounters. Looking at Blast Furnace. That's kind of the biggest one where it's just constant healing needed, but it's manageable.
Hellfire High Council.
High Council is a good one as well.
It's like there's only a couple fights where basically I could beat our Disc Priest.
Right.
And keeping in mind our Disc Priest is stellar. Yeah, at least on progression, I think nowadays he's just trumping everybody. But
yeah. So I honestly think they completely failed at this. They had a couple of good encounters, but other than that, I think it's a complete failure on Blizzard's part in meeting this goal that they set for themselves. Does anyone else have an opinion there?
Hello?
Well, it's not Siege of Orgrimmar exactly, but it's not really good either. But yeah, you still have to have a disc on every healing team. They have a permanent place, so. And they said they learned their lessons about disc in MOP. I remember them saying, "Oh yeah, we know absorbs. They're too strong." And then in Warlords, we're like, "Oh, we're here again."
In the beta, they had nerfed them into the ground, and everybody was like, "Yes, we have a place." Disc is still okay. It's like they're competitive, but they're not overpowered. And then they're like, "Oh, here, have a buff, and another buff, and now your guys are back to normal." So, I don't get it. They were so close and so far away. Fuzzy Monkeyo, do you have anything? Going once.
Hello?
We can hear you.
Thank you for that wonderful insight, Monkeyo. All right, we're going to go into the community segment now. So are there any community blogs or projects that happened this week you guys want to talk about? Anything interesting in MMO Champion forums? There's nothing interesting ever there, but just in case. Cricket.
Not right now, I think. I don't know. It's been a lot of like Trinket debates, like whether Sacred Dranic Incense is any good on particular fights, and how good is Unstable Fill Shadow Emulsion exactly, which is kind of a silly argument because it's
really
always
good.
going to be best.
Right.
It's really good.
And people are just like, okay, is it like super overpowered or just regular overpowered?
So Leadfoot 352 asks about the leaked stuff on Reddit. We were actually talking about this in the pre-show a little bit. You can go read it, but as far as Mistweaver goes, all they said was people are complaining about it. So a whole bunch of good quality leak right there. All right, well, let's move into the recruitment section. We didn't get any recruitment posts this week, but if you are a monk, or actually if you're a raid team looking for a monk, we happen to know a few. You can reach out to us at monkmeditation@gmail.com or show@monkmeditation.com, or the other. You can also reach us on Twitter @monk_meditation. Just let us know your guild details, and we'll get the word out for you. Geodude, I understand your guild is recruiting?
Yeah, we're recruiting for DPS for both this tier and for Legion.
Would you take Windwalkers?
Yeah.
Sweet.
We take
5 of them.
Windwalkers. Currently, I have 0 Windwalkers, so I understand. I think we're looking for 1 melee. So
Okay.
go ahead and apply if you're on US servers. We're high 5 on Area 52.
All right.
9 hours per week.
9 hours per week. Which days?
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All right. Great. All right. Is your guild recruiting, Ashley?
Nope, we are almost too many.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. And if there's any questions in the dojo, go ahead and let us know. We'll be happy to go over them with these fine Mistweavers. And I think that about wraps it up. Do you guys have anything you guys want to shout out? Any projects, websites, anything like that?
Well, there's my blog.
Yes, there is your blog.
Yes.
It is a really awesome blog, and if you guys don't know about this, go there right now. mistyteahouse.com. Did I get that right?
Yep.
All right. So this, why am I telling people? You're right here. Tell us about your site.
Oh yeah, it's a blog where I rant about Mistweavers a lot, but I also have a lot of resources, guides, and weak auras, and a bunch of stuff, so it's really fun. Have a look.
Yeah, your weak auras are top notch. I have integrated quite a few of them into my own UI, and every time you post your new UI with your custom custom decals and everything, I'm like, I should completely delete and restart my UI. But I'm not nearly as talented as you in the art department, so it's hasn't happened yet. But Warlords, it will happen. Not Warlords, Legion.
Legion.
Yeah. You would think it's 2 a.m. where I'm at. Jeez. All right, Geodude.
It's 3 a.m. where I am now.
Geodude,
like,
what do you want to shout out?
I don't think I have too much. I mean, people can find me on MO Champion and Twitter as usual. Let's see. You can friend me. Not too many people friendly. Geodude number 1447.
Okay.
And I think that's about it. Sorry,
right.
I'm boring.
No worries. So I also want to let people know about the monk community, some resources out there. I like to remind every few shows. Chiburst.com is the monk-centric forums. You can go there and talk to theory crafters, talk to mythic raiders, ask questions, get reviewed, things like that. So you can reach out there. And again, that's chiburst.com. There's also a monk IRC channel on Cold Front IRC server, and it's the hashtag Peak of Serenity. So join in there. There's a lot of active communication going on all the time, so reach out. And if you have any particular community site you want to let us tell the world about, go ahead and reach out to us at show@monkmeditation.com. We'll be quite happy to do that. All right, Mistweavers, I think it's time to put the tea away. And my soundboard just crashed, I think. That's fantastic. So, just come on. You can do it.
We're never gonna end.
Nope, we're never ending.
Doing
Close the
24
program,
hours
start
monk
again. Here we
meditation.
go. There we go. Okay, and... All right, Mistweavers, I think it's time to put the tea away. All right, please rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, subscribe on YouTube, or on twitch.tv. If you would like to help support the show and make it grow and get even better, you can become our boss by going to patreon.com/monkmeditation. You can help guide the future of the show and get some fun rewards along the way. Also, please go to d20crit.com/loot, and you can get some awesome t-shirts like the one I'm wearing here. I'm rocking my Mistweaver green right now. I was going to wear the All Hail Dave shirt, or what is it? Trust. It's in Dave We Trust t-shirt, but I figured Brewmaster one on the Mistweaver Roundtable isn't exactly going to be looked at too kindly, so I decided to go the Mistweaver green. So we have the t-shirt has Mistweaver green, Windwalker blue, Brewmaster gold, black, and monk teal. We also have the In Dave You Trust t-shirt, which is really awesome, really good design on there. And so, again, d20crit.com/loot. Any of you guys going to BlizzCon?
No, virtual tickets.
No, same here. Geodude?
I won't be there physically this year. I might be hanging out with old guildies or something.
Okay. All right. Well, if you are going to BlizzCon, you can join Monkey-O, as well as Air, as well as our old brewmaster, Geek of Random, Guanshu. He will be there. So say hi. Also, now Yuki, our old Mistweaver, will be there as well. So if you see them around, please say hi. All right, as part of the Monk community, if you have a blog, website, or person you want to see on the show, reach out to us via email at show@monkmeditation.com. The Monk community is the best one in the world of Warcraft. We want to showcase it. You can reach our lovely hosts here. Ashley, you can catch her at mistyteahouse.com or on Twitter at mistyteahouse. And you can reach Geodu at Geodu on MMOC. And you can also catch him on US Area 52 with the character name Fabulith. Did I lisp it right there?
Yeah.
Good. And at GeoduMW on Twitter. You can follow the show at monk_meditation. You can follow me, Chai T, at WowMonk. You can follow Air, our long-lost Windwalker, at Airwalker. You can follow the very fuzzy and disconnected Monkey-O at Monkey-O, and LeBlue at Kagarai_LeBlue. Thank you all for listening. You can watch us live Monday, November 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 100 UTC for the Windwalker Roundtable at twitch.tv/WowMonk, or you can visit monkmeditation.com for links to all the ways to watch and listen to the show. That wraps up this episode of Monk Meditation.
May your brews be strong and your heart stronger.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Come on, soundboard. Seriously? Come on.
I
Oh,
want
wow.
a 20.